have a point of oversaturation.
We are at 20 for Eddie Johnson. Jim Brunzell at 11, and Brian Taylor catching up with 8 points, guys and gals.
Published it myself, and I wrote this book by myself.
We are at 42 right now for Eddie Johnson. Jim Brunzell at 20, and Brian Taylor at 19. This is close.
More evidence right now that he was killed as a result of his lack of air support for the Bay of Pigs.
2-1. Guys and gals, Jim Brunzell, 47 points total. Eddie Johnson, 42 points total. Brian Taylor, 26. Guys and gals, Eddie Johnson and Jumping Jim Brunzell have moved on in advance to round 2 of the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament.
As one of the greatest movie icons that have ever graced the screen, the Terminator was phenomenal as a villain, but he was even better when he became the hero in T2 Judgment Day.
0. So after round number 1, giving you the tally. Christopher Reed has 12, JW with 7, Courtney with 1. Long way to go. Topic number 2, guys and gals. We're moving hot and heavy.
Let's talk about some of the athletes that came out of UCLA. Football-wise, we got Charlie Aikman. Track-wise, we got Jackie Joyner Kershaw. We got FloJo.
After 2 rounds, we are at, if I'm not mistaken here, look how close this is. Courtney Gaines with 18 points. Christopher Reed with 17 points. JW with 13. This is close.
Oh, wow.
The differential is 5, guys.
So, yes, I totally believe it's possible to be at the wrong place at the right time. My example would be this. Say you're trying to drive somewhere and you get lost. So you're in the wrong place, but then you see somebody drowning, you jump in and you save them. So you're at the wrong place at the right time. That's it. That's my debate.
My man is Captain Succinct.
Yep. And Ian Hernandez votes for Courtney with 24 votes and points. Also moving on to round number 2, as we do in these 3-way matchups. Courtney Gaines moves on to round number 2 as well. He was down big after topic number 1, but he moves on.
Bob Hitch and the recruiting coordinator, Henry Lee Parker, and that sealed their fate.
3, 2, 1. After 1 round, it is Rick Barry 11, Jim McMahon 8, Justin 8. Jim, your thoughts?
These guys are tough. You know, they were going for a three-peat. It had never been done. I know they'd beaten us in 1988 in the championship game. That's the only time I'd ever lost to Joe Montana.
Chris Johns. I learned so much from all 3 men. My vote goes to Rick as he was on target. 3, 2, 1. After 2 rounds, guys, Rick Barry is up 35. Jim McMahon and Justin are tied at 14, guys. Now, Jim McMahon, are you confident that you're going to advance and be one of the 2 that move on to round number 2 tonight?
Well, I'll probably have to get every single vote to catch up to Rick, but I'd just like to get one more than Justin. I'd be happy with that. This guy named Jack Ruby comes out of nowhere and shoots him. And then it was just total chaos. You know, people grabbed Ruby, they got the gun, they hustled him out of the room. Lee Harvey Oswald was laying on the ground while people were trying to get Ruby out of the room.
Even though Rick Barry's a fraternity brother, me, a shout out to Kappa Sigma fraternity. You know, my vote's got to go to Jim on this. Mr. McMahon wins this round.
3, 2, 1. Just like that, guys and gals. 42 points. Rick Barry moves on to round 2 of the TKN Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament. And with 3 points behind Rick Barry is Jim McMahon with 39 points. He moves on to round 2 of this tournament. Please make a case, Brian, for the 80s as the greatest decade in music history.
Well, in the 80s, you had the Rolling Stones mature. You had Aerosmith rocking out in the 80s. It just makes me reminisce about the great bands. You know, I mean, there were some tremendous, Van Halen. So many groups that really popped.
I kind of got to go with Brian just because there was something about like a little heart in that 80s that he mentioned, and that's all I'm saying. I'm going with Brian.
I am going with Jenny. She elucidated her point on the 90s very well as rebutting Brian's points about the 80s.
Kasi votes for Brian, so Brian gets another vote. Randy votes Brian. Guys, in this particular round, Brian Blair won. So, if he wins the next topic, he moves on to the grand debate in February. Oh, Brian, I want you to make a case for dinner and a movie as the best option when you're planning said first date?
You know, you have a chance to watch somebody else at a movie. First, you're going to enjoy a nice dinner, share some conversation. Then in a movie, you can be quiet, kind of enjoy the movie, and then talk about the movie afterwards.
It's 11-8 Jenny right now, with a ton more coming in here. 12-8, 13-8. I'm going to count 10 seconds. If Brian doesn't get 5 votes in 10 seconds, we're going down to sudden death yet again. It isn't. What an incredible night. 10, 9, 8, 7, 2, 1. Jenny, guys and gals, has tied it up 1-1 with our final topic now. Jenny, make the case for Royce Gracie coming out on top at his prime. If he were pitted against Muhammad Ali in his prime, Brian will make the case for Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali floats like a butterfly. He stings like a bee. And Royce Gracie, he can't hit what he can't see.
William votes Jenny. That's 8-5. Darren Redding. Brian gets my vote. It's 8-6.
Because it was about the argument. Everybody knows that an MMA person is generally going to beat a boxer.
We're tied at 8, guys and gals. We're tied at 8 right now. Lori votes Brian. Brian's up by 1. It's 9-8. Miranda votes Brian. It's 10-8. It's 10-8. Brian Blair's up by 2. 13-13. Call TKN in the green room, guys and gals, because we're tied at 13. Guys, 14-14. I'm going to count down to 10, and the next vote wins. 10, 9, 8. Brian Blair ekes out a win. He ekes out a win. And when Rock is finished, Jason London will make a case for The Shining, the original, as the most influential horror film of all time.
But then whenever I watched The Shining, it hit me in a way that was different.
My vote goes to Joe. Cedrix votes for Joe Rositano. My vote goes for Rock Richards. 12 for Joe Rositano, 3 for Rock Richards, and 3 for Jason London. Jason London and Rock Richards are tied at 11.
Of course, when you're first starting, that is not really the greatest starters, but
Lauren Smith votes for Joe. Rock Richards gets Gus Anselmo's vote.
This is turning into a battle for second place.
Yeah.
Right now, we are at 59 for Joe Rositano, 31 for Rock Richards, 23 for Jason London, but we're not done. Jason London will make a case for why Leonard Nimoy's A Life is Like a Garden is so very impactful.
To be able to, I think it's some beautiful words that life is like a garden, because you can't have a garden without a dirt, and you can't have a garden without a seed. You can't have a life without a seed.
Difficult, but vote goes to Jason London. But I vote for Jason this round. Jason London with 64 points in the lead. Joe Rositano with 61.
That's
Jason
a come
London,
from behind
who is in third. 3, 2, and a 1. Guys and gals, with a grand total of 64 points, Jason London is the top vote getter and will advance to round number 2 of the Celebrity Grand Debate Tournament.